Hi, my name's Mike. I'm the owner of McNick's Productions. I have over 20 years experience as a musician, producer and engineer, and today I'm going to be having a chat about how to project manage your music production. Greetings everyone. Project management. On the surface, probably doesn't sound like the most musical topic, but it's something that's really important if you're looking at overseeing or managing a production or a project that you're working on yourself. So today I want to give you a bit of an overview of how general project management can help you get results for your music production and some of the things to consider over the course of the project duration. A rough demo is a great place to start. Now, the demo doesn't have to be something that you've recorded in a studio of any sort, or even if you don't have a computer with a DAW at home, or you don't have access to one. A demo could be something as really simple as something you've recorded on your iPhone with an acoustic guitar, or something really basic that has the general song structure that you can use as a basic reference point when building the project moving forward. Now, just thinking about song structure, I think at the demo stage it's really critical that you've formalized the actual song structure, because if you're going to be making changes throughout the course of the production, then that's going to really increase the time. It's going to make it really difficult when collaborating with people as well. So you really need to have the general arrangement pretty much set in stone. In addition to the actual recorded audio demo, it's a good idea to have your lyrics printed out clearly, maybe even a chord chart if you're able to put together a basic progression or a chord chart that a session musician could refer to. All of these things really help in getting organised to begin with. Okay, so you've got your demo done. Now you want to have a look at the overall timeline, and I always suggest starting at the end. So what that means is starting with the end goal in mind and then work your way back. So you've got, for example, let's say you're working on a hip-hop track and you've got an expected release date in mind and you want to work back from that. So you would take into consideration how long it's going to take to have the final mix mastered, how much time you want for mixing, how much time you want, maybe contributing producers or session musicians that are going to be involved throughout that course of time, and how long is each stage going to take. So you want to allow a certain period of time and work your way backwards so that there's no unknown quantities of what you could expect by the end of the project. Budget is always a great place to start, because generally speaking, budget is going to really determine the extent of your production and how many collaborators and contributors you're going to have, and what it's going to take to get your final result working with what you have. The great thing about modern online remote recording options is that there is something to suit all budgets. Whether you're at an entry level or you have even a major label budget that you're working with, there are so many options that allow you to bring in contributors and collaborators for the project. And I always suggest, once you've actually decided on your budget, start doing a little bit of research on what the cost of each particular contributor is going to be, how many people are going to be involved, and then you can decide how you want to allocate portions of that budget throughout as well. Now, before you start going and deciding on contributors and session musicians to bring into the project, you want to have a real good think about what your role is going to be during the production of the song as well. That's going to be dependent on your particular skill set or your area of expertise. Are you a singer? Do you play guitar? Or what role do you see yourself as having in the project? You might not have much of an active role at all. You might only be contributing purely with the lead vocal, but you've got a basic chord progression down maybe on a keyboard, but you don't necessarily intend to play keyboard on the track. So have a good think about what you're able to bring to the project. And I think also that ties in with budget, because the more you can do yourself, essentially the more you're going to save money, if that is a concern for you. So it will save money, but it's also going to potentially extend the time it takes. There's only so many hours in a day, and if you're in a position to have people help you and contribute to the song, then you're going to be in a better position to get it done quicker. So once you've decided on what role you're going to play, then you can start researching contributors and who is actually going to be involved in the recording and the overall production of the project. So this extends right through to researching session musicians, and a lot of this depends on the genre that you're working in as well. You might have a genre that demands a few different guitar players, or maybe various musicians that have got experience in building string sections or things like that. So who is your main contributor is really going to be decided by the genre and what you feel each person needs to bring to the project. And I think this also ties in with the timeline as well, because when you're putting together the structure of a song, let's use a traditional format of a song that has, guitar, bass, drums and vocals, just to keep it simple. You wouldn't start necessarily with the vocals. You want to get the guts of the track down first. So you might start speaking to a drummer to begin with, or a bass player to start getting the rhythm section down, and then you can start building on top of that. And then once you've got a basic foundation, then you might start looking into backing vocalists, lead singers, and all of those things that are essentially the finishing touches. Not to say that you can't start with vocals. And one other thing that's really important is to always have your beats per minute locked in. So decide on what the tempo of the track is going to be, and that way everyone's got a base point to work from as well. So that's really important in the initial setup stages. I think when you're involving external contributors, musicians, engineers, it's really important that everyone has clarity on what their role is for the project and what the end goal is as well, so that everyone is on the same page and there's no unrealistic expectations of what someone could expect to bring along. Look, there's a number of ways you can approach it. Some people like to ask for samples from someone before they work with them. I'm not a huge fan of that, because if you've done your research and you've seen someone's back catalogue of their work, their portfolio, you know what you're getting. So I think it's in some cases a bit unreasonable to request samples from a contributing musician or otherwise. I guess, to use an analogy, you wouldn't necessarily go to a restaurant and request that the chef give you some samples before you decide to make a booking there. You would have researched the restaurant and had an idea of what they were going to give you before you indeed made your booking. So I like to correlate that with the music industry, and also when you are collaborating with people, there's a certain element of research and having respect for that person that's going to be working with you, and it also creates a really strong sense of trust and a real good connection for the project. When you're working with something creative, that's super important. Okay, so let's jump forward now. Let's say you've completed all of the recording and the production aspects, and it's pretty much all ready to go. You're ready to release. Then you really need to have a plan for distribution and promotion and marketing. I definitely recommend you have some part of your budget allocated towards building a buzz and doing some promotion. There's so many ways to promote a pending release nowadays through all of the online social media channels and various areas online that you can do that. If you're in a position to play live shows, if you're a band, then certainly maybe booking a release date well in advance, so you've got that end goal to aim for, and your release builds towards that live show, which becomes the release gig. That's always a great way to promote a new release. I've also prepared a spreadsheet that you can actually download from my website on the blog page, and the spreadsheet's designed to simply help you get organised with tracking the project management aspect of your music production, and is a great resource to help you stay organised and stay on track and make sure you release your song on time and get it out there. Well, I hope this has been a helpful video for you. Look forward to catching up with you again soon. Until then, all the best with your musical endeavours, and we'll catch you soon.